Awesome. Welcome to another episode of American Hammers TV. This is my favorite show of the week, which is our chance to interview and chat with, we get to interview people from, West Ham world. So it's kind of cool. You might recognize a face on this. We got Nigel. I actually interviewed him, the other week, which was kind of cool. We got to hear his story. And the week before we had Sean Whetstone, or 2 weeks before that, we have Sean Whetstone on. That was really cool. So today we have Dave Hautzig, and he's from New York, and and
Go figure.
And Nigel decided to come on in and give him some stick. So he heard he was coming on, and here he is.
That's
so
right.
Nigel,
I'm here. Give him some stick. Yeah.
I'm used to that.
Tanners. The lot of you.
Oh, please.
Well, so real quick, I think I mentioned, if you can't see in big bold letters, it does say ahtv.threadless.com on the screen here. That is our shop. We have designs of different supporters group logos. If you purchase anything having to do with any of the supporters groups from all over the world, we have Hammers Brazil, we have Hammers Russia, we got Hammers Sing from East London. We also have Boston Hammers, we just added on there. We got Florida Hammers, we got a whole Moscow, yeah, that one got us a little bit of trouble, but some people didn't really like
that in. I'll see that t-shirt.
Listen, the guy's a great guy. I love the guy. So we said, we'll sell your stuff for you. And I don't know, but we got some really cool stuff in there. So basically, if you buy anything having to do with any of the supporters groups, they get half of the proceeds. It helps them out, pay for their bar tabs, because we're trying to grow the Americans West Ham support here in the States. That was the main reason why we started this channel, and sure enough, it's growing like crazy. These groups are actually getting bigger numbers this year than they did last year, which is great. Nice to see people in the chat room already. I see Wally World, Gabe DeLeon from Austin, and I see Baz. So we're streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and Periscope. If you're on Facebook or Periscope, please head on over to YouTube at some point and like the video and subscribe to our channel, and that would be very nice. So without further ado, David, how on earth did you get into West Ham?
It's like a virus. You catch something, and there's no cure, there's no salve, nothing. And you can't get rid of it, and it'll eventually kill you. But the functional way this happened was, I'm born and raised in Manhattan. I had a little junky apartment on 25th Street between 2nd and 3rd Avenue. I was apartment 2F. 2H was a lady named Michelle. I went to London and Edinburgh in 1990 to go to the Edinburgh Jazz Festival because a friend of mine was playing in it. And Michelle knew my friend George and said, "Oh, yeah, I'll meet you there." Okay, fine. Sitting on the plane next to her was a guy named Derek Price, who had a season ticket at West Ham at Upton Park with his brother and his father. And when they eventually got married, they had kids, they got divorced. I haven't seen Michelle since. I've kept Derek in the divorce settlement. Nigel actually met him. We went to a match together. But whenever Derek would come visit her in New York, he'd come to my apartment because I had cable television and she didn't. And he would want to watch the Premier League highlight show. And he supported, as I said, West Ham United. And next thing you know, I'm kind of looking up the score, seeing what's happening. And then by 1992 or so, I'm reading the sign at McCormick's on 3rd Avenue, the pub near my house that had a C-band satellite dish, to find out when this team was playing, and I'd go, and I'd watch them. And by 1994, I was at my first game at Anfield. 0-0, Tony Cotty got red carded. I'm sure Nigel was there, and we all sang, "And we're better than you 10 men." That's how it happened. And then it snowballed from there. Even poor Derek is like, "God, you poor bastard. You have gone completely off the deep end." Like, I'm sicker than he's ever thought of being. Writing the match reports for West Ham till I die now for 7 years. That's how I met this guy.
Yeah.
That's it. That's how it started, and it just goes from there. Then it becomes part of you. It becomes the only sporting event you really care about. I mean, I had a season ticket to the New York Rangers hockey for 24 years. I had a season ticket to the Mets for 8 years. I used to go to Giants games all the time because a friend of mine from college had season tickets, and I went 1 or 2 games a year. And I cared, but nothing is compared to this. I mean, nothing changes my mood for an entire week like these guys. I wish I were more level-headed.
Miserable. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
He brings me down.
You're already down anyway. You miserable sod. Please. I know. You don't need a lot of help.
You're right, David, though. I really don't care about anything else. I don't care about
Couldn't
the Red
care
Sox.
less.
I don't care about when I grew up, I picked the Buccaneers as my team, and they sucked anyway. But besides,
whatever.
Even when they won the Super Bowl, I mean, my point is now I just don't care about other sports. I don't have that same feeling, the passion, you know?
Well, part of it is, I mean, think about it. I have Nigel, Sean, Ian, Dan Silver. I have a mutual friend of ours named Paul. I have friends over there. Like I talk to regularly. When I'm in London now for business, it's just I'm in a town that's as much a home to me now as other places because I know where he's sitting. I've had a meal there, right in that.
Yeah,
right
but
at
where
that
do you
table.
stay, Dave, when you're in town?
I stay in Parsons Green in West London. I like it there. I don't
Chelsea.
care. Parsons Green, and you know it. It's not Chelsea. It's the Green.
You're staying in Chelsea, son.
Please.
You know.
So what? Wait. I'm not going to stay in Canning Town. I've done that man's walk through Canning Town twice, which is great. Anybody who can get a chance to have Nigel's tour of Canning Town, I've done it twice. It's an unbelievable experience. It's really, really, really great. But obviously it's different now because we're gone. I mean, a lot of stuff is still there, but to do that and walk past Upton Park and go, go get a pie and mash.
Do you remember when we done it with John and we got to the Boleyn in time to see the Crusher crushing the Bobby Moore stand, and the three of us are just standing there,
we're just standing there
behind the Bobby Moore stand,
ball.
watching this thing just crush it down. It was like,
but I also remember when we went to the Liverpool FA Cup replay together, and we met early in the afternoon. Nigel was kind enough to arrange for John and I to get a tour in the bowels of Upton Park. We got to go on the pitch. Oh, it was wonderful. And then we walked through some alleyways to Nigel, one of Nigel's old drinking holes, the Black Lion in Plastow. And literally on the way there, who's standing on the street? Phil Parks. He's like, "Hi, Phil. Hi, Nigel." And we walk across the street. They're chatting.
That's awesome.
Like, whoa. And then on the way back to the ground before the match, Nigel was like the unofficial, unelected mayor of that area. Everybody knew him. And, he doesn't want everybody to know that he has a real soft side to him, but he does. And it was really illustrated. There was a young man who would sell programs, or not program. Did he sell Overland and Sea?
Yeah, Overland and Sea, fine thing.
He had a disability, whatever he did. He had a disability. And even though Nigel had a copy of it already, he would always go to this kid and pay the extra, £1.50 or £2, whatever it was, and buy it. And he knew Nigel, and Nigel knew his name, but he gave that interaction with him so that young man felt like what he was doing was worthwhile and he was being successful at it. And I got to meet a lot of the people on the West Ham Till I Die board. I only know their nicknames, but all of a sudden I met them in person. And let's put it this way. They didn't always look like what I expected them to look like in all sorts of ways.
We never do. You're making me sound nice now, Dave. You got to stop.
Yeah, I know. But actually, once that all ends, he's just a miserable bastard.
So,
he just.
How did you start writing for West Ham Till I Die? How that all come
Well, I had done some writing for a site I can't remember the name of anymore. Then I did some writing for KUMB.
Yeah.
And then when Andy Carroll came, I wrote an open letter to Andy Carroll and I sent it to Ian. And Ian put it on the site within 5 minutes. And it was one of the funnier things I think I've written. And shortly thereafter, Sean sent me a note saying, "Would you like to do match reports? Ian's interested." And I called Ian. I was like, "Do you remember where I live?" And he was like, "Yep, I do. You're wacky enough to make match reports sound nothing like they do on, say, BBC or Sky or the other sites at all." I went, "Okay, I'll do it. I'm here." And in fact, when I'm over there for a game, I don't do a report. I'm not going to be bothered with paying that much attention to have to write it all down. But that's how it started. And this is my 7th season doing Ian's match reports for WestHamTillIDie.com.
Awesome. That's cool.
It's
And
fun.
Where can people find that? So if people are oblivious, where would they find your match reports?
Well, Ian Dale's WestHamTillIDie.com. It's just WestHamTillIDie.com. And Ian is a radio presenter and a massive West Ham supporter, massive Tory, I might add. And I'd say it's one of the, Nigel, it's probably one of the more read West Ham fan sites, along with your favorite Claret and Hugh. KUMB, stuff like that. Oh, I had to tee you up for that one. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of your viewers occasionally browse through West Ham Till I Die, and now they know I'm the crazy fool that actually writes these crazy things. Yep.
Well, yeah. We almost had. We would like to get more people on from West Ham Till I Die. We're trying to. The reason why we had Sean on, the reason why we had Nigel on, we were trying to showcase all you guys. I mean, we've even reached out to Hugh, and Hugh said he'd come on the show at some point. Just because we want to give everybody an opportunity over here, to find out where to look for West Ham stuff when they're, I don't know, when they're looking for something negative, or when they're looking for something funny. I don't know. It's something West Ham related, because listen, over here in the States, there's nothing. I mean, if you look at ESPN FC, or it's so, even with Shaq Hislop over here, doing stuff video wise, it's all negative for West Ham. They don't give a shit about West Ham. It's Tottenham is America's team. If you look at NBC Sports, the way they talk about them in the commentary, the way they treat them on their website, it's disgusting. But anyway, there's nothing over here, so I send everybody abroad. I want everybody to see what is available abroad. And I don't know. I'm glad to have people.
Well, I'm happy to be here, and it's fun, and I love talking. I like talking about West Ham more than I like talking about wine, and I'm in the wine business, so there's no question about that.
Well, it's nice to see Nigel in a good mood too, because last time we spoke,
how can you tell?
Run, and now, I mean, has your mood changed there, Nigel? It seems as though you got a smile on your face.
His doesn't change. Nigel's mood doesn't change. He is the most. It's freaky how even keel. He does not get upset. The only time he ever got angry was when we were moving to the stadium. Yeah. Other than that, he's just like steady as she goes.
Yeah,
he does not change.
I don't over celebrate, and I don't. Nope. And I don't get despondent after a defeat. A defeat is an occupational hazard, so you just accept it and move on. And then, for me, the only manager I've never backed all the way till he got sacked was Sam Allardyce, because he never should have been appointed in the beginning, because the man's an alien to the club. So, I mean, even when Avram Grant was manager, I first started writing for a Professional Footballers Association website about West Ham. I used to try and back Avram Grant as best as possible. You could, especially
Moron Grant, as I call him.
It got tough at the end, but for me, the manager is the king, and I live in a monarchy, and you support the monarchy. And then when they die, the king is dead. Long live the king, or the queen. So, well, not the queen, because that's Karen Brady, and the quicker she goes, the better. But that's our mantra. So I will, back Pellegrini all the way until he's sacked, and then we move on to the next one. And that's how I see it should be. I get the internet is here to give people a voice. It gives, everybody's got a voice now. But sometimes, between the group, Dave will know I coined the phrase, the flip-flops. I've used it for a while, and
you were in rare form yesterday on the comments of my report. Oh, yeah, that's why I called him.
The flip-flops were back out, flip-flopping, and instead of wanting him sacked, well, a few still, thought it did, but now good things are back again. We're me, and as Dave says, I think he see it the first time we ever watched a game together was Liverpool, and I just sat there calmly. The fact that we won it with an 120th minute winner from Ogbonna,
which I called.
Yeah, you did actually say that. He did say that was going to happen.
We were having a pregame meal, so everybody was like, "All right, I think It was actually David Blackmore from Blowing Bubbles magazine. He's, all right, everybody, we need scores and game-winning goals. It just went around the table. Who knows what everybody said. And I was like, 2-1, Ogbonna. And when the goal went in, I actually thought it had been Antonio. And I turned around and Nigel's like, you, what me? Right.
Well, you know what I called? I called that we would win against Chelsea and everybody would forget about. I said, listen, I was telling everybody, we have like group chats, just like you guys have group chats as well. I mean, but I had a group chat going on with my crew, and I said, listen, my luck is that we're going to beat Chelsea, and everybody's going to forget about the shit run that we were just on, and then we're not going to win it again until January, and then we're going to be stuck with Pellegrini. So I'm amongst those who are still Pellegrini out. I don't know what your guys' opinions are. What do you think? Not just your opinions, but what do you think the overall feeling is? I mean, a lot of people are saying that, oh, no, he made the necessary changes and he made lots of changes. He didn't make lots of changes. I don't think. He just made a necessary change in goal. And he put Antonio up by himself, which was bizarre. But anyway, what are your opinions on this? Start with
Nigel's. All right. There were a lot of reasons that we were playing badly. Roberto being up there high on the list. I thought there were other things. In other words, like it's easier to do this by recounting conversations with that guy. So, Nigel would present, all right, if we had Fabianski in goal, how many more points would we have had?
Yeah.
2, 3, 4, 5. Fine. Add those points. We're much higher in the table. And that I granted him. But there were other. Fabianski being injured did not explain why defenders were leaving people unmarked, why nobody was closing down, why we were being interesting stat from yesterday, which leads to this, because Nigel pointed it out with the 87th minute, West Ham had 16 fouls. Chelsea had none. So we were fighting and they weren't. But in that previous run of games, we didn't seem to be fighting for anything. Does that mean I thought Pellegrini needed to go? Not necessarily. I thought it was obviously something, as any management needs to think about when running a company. And I do not like the board at all. As I've said, it's like my joke about them is when people get to look back on their time in pornography as the ethical echelon of their business careers, that says something a lot about them. But it's responsible for them to think about their options. But that doesn't mean that I wanted Pellegrini out. I'm an emotional guy, so if they had announced Pellegrini is gone, we're hiring Rafa Benitez or who knows, whatever. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I probably would have had that weird adrenaline boost. But he's not going to become a bad manager overnight. Statistically, he and David Moyes are the best managers we've probably ever hired based on their previous statistics before they came to the club. Yeah. It's very difficult to change managers over and over and over again and try to achieve anything resembling normalcy. So looking at it through that lens, giving him at least until Fabianski came back and we got to see what might have changed was something I expected. I never expected a change. So whether I wanted it to or not is almost immaterial. Mm-hmm. But I never expected it. I think, talking to people like Nigel as opposed to other people who, get him out. He's clueless. He can't do this. He can't do that. And he made a lot of mistakes, but, from the perspective of a wine salesman sitting in New York who writes match reports. Yeah, I'm sure I can pick mistakes out, and as could Nigel. But it's, we always do have to remember, no matter how much we think we know, he knows more. I mean, he just does his job. He knows a lot more. He's on the training ground. He sees things that we would never be privy to. You mentioned Antonio starting up top yesterday alone. I mean, it worked. It worked. The negative to it is, a guy coming off of a hamstring injury who has had a history of hamstring injuries on a cold day in London. And as I said in my report, he likely has as much scar tissue in his leg as he has muscle fiber. Mm-hmm. That was dangerous. So, and he looked a little gassed and kind of holding on to his leg as he was walking off yesterday. So that's worrisome, but I don't think he's going to start Wednesday regardless. So that's a long-winded answer, I guess. Of course,
no, that's listen. You had some valid.
I never expected him to be sacked at this stage, and I'd prefer that he's not sacked, because if he's not sacked, that means we've righted the ship and we're playing as best as we can, which was never going to be as good as anybody would hope or expect from what we were sold. That's all nonsense. It's mid-table mediocrity, a decent cup run. It's about all we're ever going to hope for and get under these people. That's for sure.
Nigel, what do you think?
Well, I mean, what do you expect? I mean, you just said you're still Pellegrini out. Yeah. So we've had this set of games. Mm-hmm. What do you expect? What has gone?
Want and expect, they're two different things. Like I honestly, just like David was saying, I didn't see him going anywhere. I don't see the board affording to get rid of him and hiring somebody else. And then if they did, then they're the type of people that I would feel would take it out of any money in the January. So we get somebody new before January. They have a window with no money because they just spent it all on getting rid of it. That's my expectation.
So however, why are you still Pellegrini out then?
Because I think he's past it, man. I don't think he has it. I literally
off the back of 8 games.
We lucked out. Yeah, I feel that we had a lucky match yesterday. I really do.
Well,
I don't think we did.
I don't agree.
We did.
Because here's the reason why. Here's the reason why. My reason is that, and also the reason why I felt that was absolutely absurd to have Antonio up top by himself was because every time that he had the ball and did something well, he was out on the wing with the ball. He was not even up top by himself. And then every time he'd be on the wing with the ball, if you watch, there was nobody in the box. That's where he was supposed to be. You know what I mean?
Except that he was the one who got in the middle of the box for the header that could have scored the early goal, the goal that was ruled out by VAR. I mean, it's when you're up there alone, when you're playing as a lone striker, you're going to be side to side and in the middle. You're going to move. You're going to do those diagonal runs. And he did that. The bigger issue with him being up top alone was more, I think, his fitness levels. I mean, and he is capable of that position. He is physically capable of doing that. But I'm glad he did it. I'm glad he told.
I'm 100% glad we won. I'm glad
he told Allaire, you know what, sit down.
Yeah, I don't dispute you're not glad that we won, but the thing I'm saying is, especially when it comes to Pellegrini, is that say we did get rid of him before the Chelsea game and we replaced him. What if that manager didn't win for 6 or 7 games? Would you want him sacked? You're setting a precedent. If you sack a manager up until the Bournemouth game when we drew 2-2, we were flying, and that's when we lost Fabianski, and then slowly the wheels come off. Yeah, now we'll see if we've righted. We know Wolves is going to be a difficult game, but he's shown. Everybody accused him. He's so one-dimensional. He's so this. He's so that. He showed that he wasn't one-dimensional. That he can make the changes. He can do it differently, and yet people still ain't happy.
Well, it was the same,
and that's where I go to my flip-flops.
I'm sorry, it was the same formation. Is my point? It was the same. It wasn't much.
But
different.
If you believe in a system, but if you believe in a system, if you're a manager with his record, which let's face it, is the best manager we've ever hired on paper. If he believes in that system, then I think he's got every right to play to that system. Perhaps he can say it's not the system that's the problem, it's the players that is disposable. Now, he's only had 3 transfer windows. He ain't going to change us from what went on before to what happened now.
And he's not doing anything. Nobody does anything.
But the thing we should be worried about, is this furore that's gone on has got into the ears of Sullivan, and you can bet your life Sullivan's going to be looking and going, well, do you know what? Perhaps I should start buying the players in if Fusilos is capable of bringing in Roberto. And then we're going to be back to square one, because that's an even worse situation. So people need to just calm down.
and you can bet your bottom dollar that David Sullivan is going to use what's happened in the last 6 to 8 weeks as his rationalization That I still have to be more involved. And that's not saying that Husilos is some fantastic football mind. Anybody who can sign a guy like Roberto, deserves to be questioned at this point.
Yeah, but everybody's got them signings. Alex Ferguson signed Massimo Taibbi, who is generally recognised as the worst Premier League player. We've only got the second worst Premier League goalkeeper now. Right. Fergie signed the worst. So if he can do it, anybody can do it. Yeah. He bought Varane. Varane was rubbish.
That was just about to say
world-class player.
I mean, instantaneously bad.
Yeah.
I don't think he was any better at Chelsea when he went there. Didn't he go to Chelsea?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. He just wasn't meant for the English league.
These things happen.
Yeah, these things happen. I understand your frustration, Tim, because I am at my heart more like you. But that's why I've got guys like Nigel to talk me off the cliff.
I do try to talk him out of it, off the ledge.
He does all the time.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like I can't. I hate to say the fact that I can't say that I was disappointed that we won. I just can't come out of my mouth. But somewhere in me, kind of was for the amount of I wish that we went on that 10-game losing streak, or not losing streak without a win, because that's like in Brazil, man. You lose 10, you're gone. Or if you don't win in 10, you lose your job without even question. I mean, that's what I was hoping for Pellegrini, because it's just he's been doing the same thing for over a year and a half now, almost. You know what I mean? And it's the same shit. And we had the same results, dude. Even last year, we had winning streaks, we had losing streaks. Nothing's changed. We've changed players. We bought better players in January. We've given him his players in January, just like we did. Not January. I'm sorry. In over the summer, like we did the first summer he was with us. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, I'm going to ask you a question now. We're flipping. I'm the host. Ready? So Tim, welcome to the show. I know you're very much you want Pellegrini out. You actually had that secret desire that we would lose. You got into your Freudian self to get rid of him, and now you have a direct line of communication with David Sullivan. God help you.
Yeah, no.
He is asking you. I have a checkbook. I will sign any reasonable person who would sign for us as our manager. I have sacked Pellegrini. I just sent him a text firing him, because that's the kind of thing David Sullivan would probably do. You're in charge. You're the new hiring committee. You're the one-man hiring committee. Who's coming in now, today? Because we just lost 4-0 to Chelsea yesterday.
Yeah, with the unlimited budget, it'll be Nagelsmann, man, out of Germany. But honestly, that would never happen. But I mean, out of all the names that we've been attached to, I think Eddie Howe would probably be the smartest choice.
Yeah, but maybe that's who you'd want. But you know what? Eddie Howe's not leaving Bournemouth. He doesn't want to leave. He left once to go to Burnley. It was a train wreck.
You say that. Next thing you know, he'll end up in Everton. That's our luck. You know what I mean?
Nah,
I swear.
I don't think he's going to leave. I don't think he's not leaving Bournemouth. We can't hire him. Next, what's your next name?
Definitely not Benitez.
Okay, great. So not Benitez. Right.
I don't like Dyche because he's Millwall. What else?
I like that thinking.
Listen to the names you are putting out there. You're talking Sean Dyche.
No, I'm just saying the names that we're linked with, man. I mean, honestly, I can't think of it.
Stop reading Claret and Hugh then.
No. Yeah. It's thesackrace.com. That's what I usually go to for all that crap.
You can hire anybody. Who will it be?
They say fucking Allardyce is like a long shot too. I'm like, why would we bring him back?
See, but there you have it. So right now, there's nothing that you can name that has any reasonable assurance is going to be the kind of quick fix that's going to work for us right now in the beginning of December.
Yeah, but
so knowing that, do you think we were going to did you think we were going to get relegated with Pellegrini?
He's hesitated too long now.
Yeah, I know. You know what? If the answer is no, fine. For West Ham, you're shooting par.
Probably not. But I mean, it would be in and around. It would be in or around like 17, 16.
Welcome to West Ham. Good. In and around. Welcome to West Ham United Football Club.
We've been since we came back up in the Premier League, since Allardyce came over, we've had the same fucking results.
Right.
10th, 11th, 13th.
Yeah. What does that tell you? Yeah, but
Nigel, help me.
Tim, without wishing to educate and look, the fact is West Ham's finished top third once, top five once, or top five twice. So we finished third and fifth. Before that, the highest under Greenwood, apart from if you take 85-86, which was third, bearing in mind we nearly got relegated the season before and we went down 3 seasons later. So if you take that out, we'd finished 6, I think, on 6 occasions. Mm-hmm. West Ham historically have never been a big team. I think the problem is that the fan base thinks that we should be. In theory, we could be. In practice, we're not. So we should accept a mid-table mediocrity. In a way, we should accept that is our place, and that anything above that is a good time, and try and enjoy it. Because otherwise, what happens is we get bogged down with this, negativity when actually we're just being West Ham.
When you spend that much money on a manager, when you spend that much money on Allaire and
but everybody's doing it now.
Everybody's doing that now.
We should expect something better, no?
No, because everybody else is doing it.
We're spending the same amount of money on Allaire as Bournemouth spent on Nathan Ake, right? Was he like 40 million or something insane like that?
Every club is spending the same money. You're just doing the same thing. That's why, if you look, Dave will tell you, I told him a couple of years ago, the Premier League is narrowing, not at the top, but in our level, because everybody's got the same amount of money. Everybody's getting 150 million a season now, so they're all setting aside 60, 70 million to buy players. The only way to actually the only way to jump it is to actually, you got to outspend the top 6. If you want to join the top 6, you got to outspend them. We're not outspending the middle 6. Yeah. So that's why we buy Haller for 42. Other people, but we're buying Haller, never played Premier League football before. That's a gamble signing because you don't know. Andrei Shevchenko turned up as one of the greatest strikers ever and bombed in the Premier League.
So it would take a sheik? Is that what you're saying? Or
basically, or an American billionaire. Do we know one?
I wish, man. I wouldn't have you over there right now if I knew one.
Maybe we should give John a call.
He's going to give the old Trip Smith story now. Hold up.
No, I'm not going to give the Trips this morning because I'm keeping that within. Yeah, I'm keeping that under wraps. It's just a theory, but I'm not going there.
Right.
Let's look at what Man City did, Tim. I mean, Man City. You mentioned Man City overspent, and they spent their way into it.
Do you know what
these
happened?
Guys?
When Golden Sullivan bought us, we were on a downward spiral, obviously, because I saying it's gone billionaire. But it just so happened to be at the same time, Man City, or 2 years after Man City had been bought by the Arabs. And they said, we're going to move you to the new stadium and everything else. And what had happened is that Man City had moved to the new stadium. So West Ham fans looked at that and thought, blimey, is that what our future is? And what they failed to realise is when Man City first moved into that stadium, it was nicknamed the Wastelands. They'd left Main Road. They did nothing there. It weren't until the Arab money turned up and it totally changed them. Now, Golden Sullivan have said since day one, we ain't got oil money. We ain't got money to throw at it. He's a billionaire on paper because most of his money's tied up in property.
Real estate.
Only half a billionaire. So, he's short of a few bob, apparently. They're not going to throw their family money away. The Premier League is littered with millionaires. I mean, Jesus Christ, only West Ham could be bought by the richest or second richest man in a country. And the man is now the biggest bankrupt ever in history. Yeah. He went from a billionaire bank owner to nothing.
Right. Only West Ham could have the beginning, the epicenter of the financial collapse worldwide. Start with our guys. I mean, you couldn't make it.
But if you want to see what clubs people were buying, Dave will say, I've said it for a few years now.
Championship.
And who got bought this week? Charlton. 50 million quid.
Right. What about smart buys? I mean, what about not? I mean, I don't know. Look at Leicester. I mean, what's their deal?
Leicester were relegated when they got bought.
Yeah.
Southampton were relegated when they got bought. Yeah. So if you think how much money is it needed? So if you buy a current Premier League team, you got to have like 500 million, say. Now,
And that won't do it, by the way.
No,
not with
won't.
Dave. Sullivan and Gold evaluate us at 750, despite all the real money people evaluating us at about 300 million.
So you buy Charlton for 50 million, you spend 100 million to get into the Premier League, and then bang, you got your money back. How are you going to get your money back spending £500 million or £700 million? Where are you going to get your money back? So when you think people buying football clubs now are doing it for business, so they're doing it to make money, so they're not going to turn up and buy us.
I'm just saying, like, the amount of money that Leicester spent since they've been back, and they won the league, and then obviously they're second place right now, and stuff like that. They didn't really spend more than us, did they? I mean, that's my point. Like, they haven't. I mean, they have a good manager and smart purchases, and
I don't know if they got lucky with Rodgers, but at the end of the day, you think they were dull as dishwater under Claude Paul Yo.
Yeah. Why can't we have a season like that? I mean, at the bowling, we almost did.
We did. We've had it.
Not winning the league, though.
You got to wait another 10 years now.
I don't know. So, all right, let's do a few Hammers polls before we get into the rapid fire questions. I mean, we're still a little bit of ways from there, but I know that there's going to be some discussion on each of these polls. So what we'll do is we'll start with David on the questions, on the answers. I'm sorry, and then go to Nigel, and then I'll answer. So the first one is: does Allaire start on the bench again on Wednesday against Wolves? Yes or no?
No.
I think we know, don't we? No.
No, he has to start.
He's starting.
Yeah,
he's starting. Yep.
I don't think they'll risk Antonio playing another game. No.
Not a chance.
And, wow, 440 votes though. This was 22 hours ago though. I wouldn't risk it, but it's 63% on Twitter at least. They said, that's interesting. So, what was West Ham's best performance of the season? I'm sorry, was it the best performance of the season yesterday? Beating Chelsea.
I'm gonna say no. It was no. I'd say the best performance of the season was the second half against Norwich. Granted, competition, but in terms of the way we played and the just the style of the football, I'd say no. Second half against Norwich.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, performance-wise, it was great. I thought against Man United we were better, to be fair. But I mean, Dave is right. I thought the second half at Norwich, we did look, and bearing in mind Norwich had already beat Man City when they turned up at our place. So that was a great performance.
Yeah, I would have to say what I've witnessed. I'd have to say Norwich too. So I'll just say no, but 82% out of 422 votes. Yeah, they said it was the best performance, just because I guess maybe it was Chelsea. You know what I mean?
Fresh in their memory.
Yeah, a clean sheet away from home. Those are always nice, But against Chelsea,
in Martin we trust.
So from the next two, of which are Wolves away and Arsenal at home, how many points will the Hammers pick up? This is always a trap question. I mean, this is something that we all should be saying 6, but realistically, I guess we'll throw that word in there. Realistically, how many will we pick up? How many points in the next 2 matches? David,
I'm gonna go 0-2 because I think Wolves will win. I think we'll lose to Wolves. I think we can get a draw against Arsenal.
Okay.
I think 2 draws.
Yeah, I wondered about. I thought that's possible.
2 points. Even though I might fancy this against Arsenal. To be fair, we get 5-6 days because we played the Wednesday, but then we're not playing till the Monday night, so it's possible we could nick 4.
And Wolves have one less day of training and rest than we do as well. On Wednesday.
Yeah,
but we never do well there.
No, we haven't won since 2009.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trying to think. I've been there a couple of times. We lost both. So
Mark Noble and Matt Upson scored that game. Wow, that's a while ago. So that was 2009, 2010.
That was the opening game of the season.
It was in August. Yeah,
opening game of the season. I remember. I remember Upson's goal was like a header that just bounced into the ground and kind of dribbled in. Very Matthew Upson.
It was assisted by Noble, who scored the opening goal.
Yeah, Zola. We all thought everything was great.
So this is tough because I guess I heard 0-2 and 3. I was sorry 4. I would say 3. I think we'll lose the Wolves, but I think we'll beat Arsenal at home. They've been struggling, and yeah. So I don't know. I'll just say 6 for shits and giggles since we didn't pick that one. Yeah. Wow. 0
Look at us, Nigel.
34%.
Look at that.
It's kind of evenly spread.
Look at that. We're smart.
Only 114 votes though. There's still, it was only made 2 hours ago, so there's 3 days left. So anybody watching this, feel free to head on over to Twitter. Hammers Polls are good friends of ours, and check out their polls. This should be a good one here. So we've already kind of discussed this, but so what will the result be when West Ham play Wolves on Wednesday night? Post prediction, blah 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 blah. West Ham win, Wolves win, score, draw, goalless. Let's start with Nigel because Nigel said you said draw. Now,
yeah, draw.
Score, draw, goalless, draw. What do you think?
I'd score draw.
Score draw.
There's always goals with Wolves.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I'd say that too. What about you think that Wolves will win there?
Yeah. I do.
Yeah, I kind of feel that too, man.
You defeatist.
It's just they fucking Wolves, man. They're just
bugger off. Oh, please.
So,
my God.
Yeah, 37%.
Wow, look at that.
And 32% say West Ham win. So I love the optimism there, me personally. And then 30%.
That's 62% think that we're going to get something. So, well, actually 64%.
Yeah. That's good.
All right.
That's it. All right. No more polls. Good. Wow. That was painless, I guess. I thought it was going to be worse. Usually they get some trap questions in there.
Well, you missed out on the Pellegrini poll yesterday. They
Which was?
Well, they did a snapshot. Should he still stay or should he go? And I think I worked out 87 or 60% on Hammers polls said he should still go. And I worked out it was about 87 people had voted. And I thought I said they need to go and look at.
Did Claret and you do a poll like that?
Oh, I don't. They do one every day, don't they?
They do. Actually, I think, they're doing a poll today. Should we do more polls?
Oh, did they?
No, I'm just making it up.
The question was from, the Star of Hammer. Okay, so it was actually, it finished at 55% Pellegrini out.
Yeah.
45% Pellegrini in. See, this is what I'm saying. All it takes is one result, and everybody just changes their mind.
Yeah, but you say, but there was, after that result, still 55% of the people said get him out. And
because 8 games in a row without a win hurts more than winning against Chelsea at home. Yeah. One match. You know what I mean? It should take more than one match to change everyone's mind, no? It should take a good run.
Well, they shouldn't have had that mindset in the beginning, to be honest. So
I remember the 8 games in a row that we lost. Well, 8 games in a row without a win.
Without a win, yeah.
Without scoring a goal in the Great Escape year with Pardew. And we actually broke that duck on, was it Christmas Eve against United? When we won 1-0, Rio Coker? It was in December.
I don't think it was Christmas Eve.
Maybe it was
just before Christmas, wasn't it? No, we never played Man United Boxing Day.
We had, we had gone 8 games without a goal. We had a couple 0-0 draws under Pardew, and then Pardew got sacked, and then Kerbishley came in. That was his first game. So that's been there, done that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's check in with the chat room. The chat room has been blowing up. I love to see it when it's this.
Can I just ask, is TJ Cooney Jr., is he Jimmy Cooney? So if we can swipe yes or no. I just want to know.
I think it might be a stage name or a fake. I think he's awesome. I've met him in person.
Is he from Philadelphia?
Yeah.
All right, Jim.
That is who you thought it was.
Yeah, Jim. I don't dislike you, mate. I know you think I do. I don't. I love to wind you up, son, because you bite like a bleeding giant marlin.
I know,
and it's just a bit of fun I have with you, mate. I've got no problems with you whatsoever. There you go. I've said
Just remember, Jim, that Nigel does smug very well.
I do love to put it on the. There you go. We're good mates. We are, Jim. I just love winding you up, son.
I actually met him when my son and I traveled down to Philadelphia to watch a match with the Philadelphia crew down there, and no, he's a really great guy. We tried getting him on the show, but those technical difficulties.
Yeah, we should get. To be fair, he's got a good taste in music. I do like a bit of the old punk stuff and whatever, you know.
Yeah.
The hatchet is buried, not in my back. I hope, no, Jim.
Yeah.
Watch where you throw that tomorrow.
So it's Forever Blowing Bubbles is always in. I appreciate it. Robert Locke is a longtime viewer of ours, and I really appreciate that as well. And Wally World is part of our family, and I'll actually be guesting on West Ham is Why We Drink shortly after this show. So just cheer up, because I don't know how.
Comes with the territory.
Give me a run. Give me a positive run, Paul. I'll cheer up. Essex Hammer has been defending all of your points and telling me I need.
Well, I didn't want to point out. I'm glad you did. You know, Dave knows I do like to blow my own trumpet now and again. So yes, Essex Hammer said, "Listen to me. I am the voice of reason."
That's right.
Yep.
This
I have.
Jazz Winder, Paul, I think his name is. We're actually going to interview him next Sunday. That'll be cool. He's actually from Hammers Sing, the group over there in East London, and we're going to get his story, which will be cool. So glad to see him in here chatting away with everybody. Kent Hammers is always a fun time with seeing them in the chat room. But listen, thank you everybody who's been chatting along with us. Keep it up. I really appreciate it. So going into the next, not just the next two fixtures, but leading up into January. I mean, you guys predict that we probably won't make a change. I mean, we probably won't. You guys, the feeling I'm getting is that you guys think we probably won't make a change at all this season. So that said, how many? You think we can do well between now and January? You think we can string a run together, realistically?
Define
think we can get
well.
some points and maybe get the hell out of the bottom half of the table.
I think we'll get more points in the next 5 games than we did in the previous 5 games if you discount the Chelsea game.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah. It's not very hard to do that, but I get his point. Yeah.
We've only got to win 1 game. We've done it. There you go.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I think we'll steady the ship a little bit, but don't expect anything to happen in January window. We never do well in the window. I mean, to say we don't do well in the January window is the understatement you could come up with. I mean, Demba Ba is the last person we brought in January that had any effect, and we went down that year.
Yeah.
So we are not a January team, particularly with these guys at the helm. It's just stay away from the January market. We're not going to do much of anything, if anything at all. Backup keeper, maybe, but I would even be more inclined to let the under 23 kid Anang, give it a shot as the backup instead of along with Martin and with Fabianski back from injury.
So all right, you guys are confusing me because so you guys are optimistic about Pellegrini and our chances, but you also
realistic
with the current owners. So where do you think we'll finish then? I mean, roughly. I mean, before the season started, where did you even think? You had 10 to 14, 8 to 10. Were you guys
I think 8, anywhere between 8 and 14, depending on what could happen. In the first 4 or 5 games, I thought the league seems wide open. But interestingly, Chelsea has done better than expected. United are still there or thereabouts, even with today's result. I thought anything was possible because, again, the window was open. And if Everton had won today, they would have gone up to 11th.
That's bananas, I know. Yeah.
Right. So, I didn't think there was any. I thought there was a chance if we continued to play like we had in those first 5-6 fixtures. Yeah, who knows? Sure, is it possible? You bet it was. But realistically, I knew that was the outside. I always look at 10th place as my happy place.
That seems to be, the way it's been.
That's about right.
Historically, West Ham have only finished top 10. In a row, three seasons. So only once in their history have they finished 10th or above 3 times in a row, and that was under Harry Redknapp. Before that, we yo-yoed up and up and up and down around that. Now, if you look at it, if we judged it on how big a club was, we could possibly say that there are 6 clubs bigger than West Ham. So therefore, 7th spot is the spot we should be aiming for. So if you said, now what you hope for is generally out of those 6 clubs, like the Arsenal, Man United, Chelsea, Liverpool, I'll put Tottenham in there, Man City, that if you hope that at some point 1 or 2 of them will have a bad season, as evident by Man United and Arsenal. So therefore you think, ooh, outside chance, if we're at our game or above our game, we could be in 4th, 5th, 6th, maybe. Yeah, as evident by the Boleyn season. You know, did we do really well? We finished 7th. If we'd have beat Swansea and we'd have beat Stoke as we should have done, we'd have finished 4th. Yeah. So that's 2 of the last 3 games that we lost that, you know, that we didn't. Stoke, we were 1-0 up at half time and lost 2-1. Now, if we'd have won that game, we'd have finished, I think, 6th. So if you look at that, it is possible, but that season's tainted in a way because Leicester won the league. So it says basically loads of the top 6 teams had a bad time. So,
but we just have like the players and the players especially. Like I'm not obviously putting all the blame on Pellegrini. The players need to step up as well. We the teams that excuse me are supposed to be below us. You know, we should have won. I mean, we should have won. I mean, we need to take advantage of those, especially as the player's going to be up for it. The manager's going to put our players in the right position. The player, like you guys said, the manager's there on the training pitch. He should know which players are ready, which players are not. He needs to know who's going to show up on Saturday. You know what I'm saying? But the whole point was that going into the season, there was a lot of talk about Arsenal possibly dropping out of that top 6. There was a lot of talk about. There wasn't as much talk about Man U as I thought. Chelsea was going to be one of those teams signing Frank Lampard as manager. I'm like. What the hell is this? He just managed Derby, couldn't get him promoted. They're going to suck this year. They have a transfer embargo, and they're doing well. They're doing a lot better than I thought they were going to do this year. My point, though, is this. You're right. Both of you guys are right. This was the year that I was thinking that there was going to be quite a few of those, maybe 3 teams dropping out of that top 6, and we could sneak right up. And I'm like, oh, easily with the optimism over the summer and the players that we signed over the last few summers. And yes, we have Memo Pellegrini. And yes, I was one of those things. Yes, we have a great manager. He's going to know what to do with these awesome players he's buying. And, you know, Yarmolenko will be healthy going this. I'm like, yes. And then we can't beat the teams we need to beat.
Well, I mean,
you know,
our friend, Nigel's friend, who I know, John Bucci from More Than Just a Podcast, sent our little group a chart the other day. Yeah, from More Than Just a that since Gold and Sullivan took over the club, our total expenditures on defenders in those years, £72.1 million, little average of a little over 7 million per year on defenders. Take away Issa Diop from that, and that's now down to 5 million. So
Dave, without wishing to sound like Sean, no such thing as a free transfer, yeah? So that is not right, yeah? When you sign someone for nothing, what that means is you ain't giving the club a 5 million. You're putting 5 million in the geezer skyrocket, yeah? Because he's taking the money. But so it goes down 0 on that lovely spreadsheet, but it ain't 0. And, you know, we can bleat on about everything, but he is right when he goes on and says, don't forget agents' fees. Yeah.
Oh, I'm not disputing that. What I'm saying is that Gold and Sullivan in particular, they love their Sullivan more so, obviously, because Gold has nothing to do with anything. That they love their strikers. They love their big name attacking players. You take away Issa Diop, defenders and goalkeepers in general have almost always been without a transfer fee. So you're still going to pay agents' fees when you believe me. Sebastian Hiller's agents got money. Then there was money spent beyond the £45 million fee. There was more money on top of that. So the agents' fees and other expenditures are a given, Nigel. But overall, on the defense, which is why we've only had one season with a positive goal differential in our Premier League history. Why do we never do that? Well, it's more about shipping in goals left, right, and center than never being able to score goals. And it's just because they're not sexy signings. So they've never really... And that's what David Sullivan likes. He likes sexy signings.
We've never had a transfer window where we've concentrated on the defence. And yet, as Dave says, probably because he's been listening to me, one positive goal difference season in Premier League. I actually
knew that without you, believe it or not.
So really? What does that tell you?
I did.
Is the problem scoring goals, or is the problem keeping them out? So, and that's what we've got to try and get right. We can never get that right.
Yeah.
Is it scoring? Because one season we'll have like a great goal scorer. You know, we had John Hartson up front banging in 24 goals in one season, and yet we were still leaking goals. You know, it was just mad.
But
not to mention putting his boot through Isle Berkovic's chest.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for that 3 or 4 goal, positive match, that
keep waiting.
Really likes to attack. I know, but that's his thing. It's score more goals than the other team. That's pretty much how you win anyway. But
the thing is, as long as the way I've always sold it is as long as you go to the game or you watch the game wherever you are, and it's an entertaining game, you should walk out sort of happy. I remember once, this is years ago, we got beat 5-1 at home to Leeds United. And me and my mate Paul, we walked out and thought, blimey, that was a good game, wasn't it? You know, and season ticket renewal time, it was in the April. And you think, well, that's us signed up for another year. Then we lost 5-1. What happened was we had 3 players sent off. Di Canio had a great game. We were still in the game until the 3rd player got sent off. I think it was Craig Forrest. And it was just a game that had everything. And that's what, in a way, it's easy to pick out games like that and say, well, that was a good game, wasn't it? You know, one of the best games ever was 5-4 Bradford. I mean, you ain't going to get a madder game than that. We were 4-2 down at half. Well, 4-2 down at one point. It was 2-2 at half time. We were 4-2 down. And, and you even had the Canio throwing an issy fit wanting to come off. You had the argument about who's going to take the penalty. You know, that's what we want, entertainment. Because at the end of the day, we ain't going to win the title. Yeah? And, I mean, we've disgracefully treated the Cups badly under Pellegrini. I mean, Pellegrini, as much as I say don't sack him, he's got the worst Cup record I know. I think we've been beat by 3 League One teams under his tenure. Oxford, Wimbledon, and Wigan.
Wigan,
yeah.
Wigan,
yeah.
I was at the Wimbledon League Cup game, and we were lucky to come away with that with a win. It's just.
You were lucky to get there, if I remember.
I was lucky to get there. Yeah, I mean, it's 14 miles from where I live, and it took me nearly 3 hours. And I drove the wrong way around the M25. So people that know the M25, I was so desperate to get there. Instead of going the short way because the road was blocked, I actually drove the long way, all the way around past Heathrow Airport and back round again. And I think I missed the first half hour. So, but hey, that's what you do, innit, when you're mad. And we are all mad. Well, we are all mad, aren't we? Come on, let's face it.
Jesus.
Now it's time for the rapid fire questions. Quick fire, rapid fire, even though they never are. They're never rapid, never quick. We do have 10 questions for you.
We're in our 50s. I don't do rapid or quick anymore.
Oh, man. Well, they could be, but no, we prefer you elaborate. That's no problem. Meat pie or apple pie?
You're right. Are you going to call out who chooses?
Well, I've done mine last week. It's your turn.
Oh, then this is just for me.
Crack on.
Just for you?
Yeah. Meat pie.
He's here to make fun of your answers.
Yes.
I'm sure meat pie. I go meat. Absolutely.
All right.
Where from?
Any kind?
Unfortunately, a Spurs supporter down the road, but that's where I buy my beef.
Oh.
Yeah, he's a good guy. He's good.
Not taking you BJ's again.
No. Who's your favorite current West Ham player?
Mark Noble.
That's a popular one. Yeah. Who frustrates you the most in the current West Ham squad?
Sebastian Haller.
Really? I think that's the second time I've heard that. Okay.
Yes, rapid.
FA Cup or top 4 finish.
I've changed my tune on that in the last few years. You know what I'm doing here? What am I doing?
Top 4 finish.
Oh, you're holding a league trophy?
I'm holding a cup. Give me a cup.
You got more chance of holding a teacup, son, than you have of holding the FA Cup.
I didn't. Nobody said there was a chance. I just believe me. I think we have more.
You'll get one of them.
Yeah, well, I have the actual tea, but I don't have the mug. That's for sure.
What about West Ham do you love?
Getting to know people like him. I mean, to have like a community.
Yeah.
Like I was talking to Nigel about it yesterday. So like my daughter is in college and she's very interested in doing a semester abroad in London at UCL. That's where she's really interested in applying. Mm-hmm. And, you know, as a dad God, I'm nervous when she gets into the car and drives 10 minutes away because it's just me. So I am. But like, she would go there and I would know Nigel, Sean, our friend Paul, a bunch of other people. She's covered. That would never happen with the Mets, New York Rangers, Giants, none of that. That's just not happening. West Ham? Oh, yeah. Your kid's over here? Got it. Don't worry about it.
Just we'll have her out drinking and smoking and everything else. Of course she knows it. Don't you worry.
That's what I love about West Ham, because it really is. American sports don't have it where it's so community-based. No. You know, people talk like the idea of community, neighborhoods, et cetera, just died. They just don't exist that much anymore. Kids don't spend much time together in actual person anymore. They think their way of being together is being in their room on Snapchat alone. Yeah. So it's a fairly depressing time probably to be.
The closest thing that someone brought this up the other day on our show. The closest thing that compares is college football. Where you have the largest capacity stadiums. They're absolutely full, like 90,000, 100,000, always filled. They walk from the neighborhoods. They walk from the dorms. I mean, they walk in droves to the stadium. It's the closest thing, but it's not the same.
No, it's not the same.
Not the same.
Because it's not as generational. And like I went to a big university. Like I went to Syracuse University. So to go to the Carrier Dome for our Syracuse basketball games was a big deal. But, you know, even I would be sitting in the student section looking at, like, you know, most of the people in the dome who just lived in Syracuse. I'm like, you know, this is only your team because you got nothing else.
Yeah.
You live in Syracuse. You got nothing else.
Sounds like me and West Ham, Dave, to be fair.
Sounds like what?
Me and West Ham. I was just saying.
No, it's not. It's like you're born in
did I have, you know?
Well, right.
Yeah.
But
it's generational with you. It's you know what I mean.
Yes.
It's not. That's the difference, I guess.
And to be
part of that,
the
1923 Cup final. You know, I remember looking at his rosette when I was a little kid.
That's what I love about it.
You know, he was on the pitch. I don't think he saw anything at the game. You know, because people that don't know, there was 200,000 people inside the stadium. Typical East Londoners, up of them turn up and bunk in, climb over the wall. Yeah. So there was only supposed to be 100,000, and ended up with 200,000. So, you know, there was he couldn't see the game at all. He hardly saw anything because they were just all pushed to the side, and the game was played. Yeah. Crack on.
That's awesome. That's amazing, though. What about West Ham do you hate, David?
Wow. What about West Ham do I hate? Yeah. Other than two people named David and somebody named Karen?
That's a popular answer.
Well, that's certainly one of them. What do I hate about them? That's a tricky question. I mean, do I like that my entire weekend and my mood and how I think about work and my wife and my kids and everything can be dependent on 90 minutes on a pitch? Sometimes I'm getting a little better about it. Even this year, just haven't been that bothered. Like, we stuck. I'm used to this and move on with my day. The fact that it has that kind of, power over my emotions, that's it. But even that I'm getting better at. There's probably not much there's very little I hate about it. I don't hate anything really.
The most
about them. There's a lot of shit that I hate.
Inconsistency. What was the other one?
Comes with the territory.
Yeah. The owners usually the number one answer.
No, I gave that.
Yeah. And
I think I said the fans last week.
oh, social media.
You did? Oh,
That's the
yeah.
other one. West Ham social media.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan of social media on a lot of levels. I see how that it does a lot more harm than it does good most of the time, and all across the world.
So, what's your favorite curse word?
Mine?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
I've never heard him swear. I don't think you do you swear, dude?
He swore like
Me?
7 times before we went live.
Are you kidding me?
Oh,
You
yeah.
just paid it. Fuck off. Yeah,
I was
you
trying to
better.
tell him that, hey, don't worry about swearing.
It's
today, but I didn't
terrible.
have
I
to.
mean, my
The
daughter
great
is
one
like every
actually
other
was
word.
when Sean was on, and he was like, "Oh, I don't swear." You know, when you think, "Fuck it off, do you?" I've heard
Yeah,
him
right.
swear like a trooper.
Call it-
All this,
Yeah.
oh, I'm far too, well behaved to swear. Sean Whetstone,
Oh
he
my God.
swears.
When my
Dear,
family
oh
met,
dear.
when we came down, we were at the Wolves match last year. So Terry, my wife Terry, and our kids, we were upstairs in the same block as Nigel, 215, and we walked. You're 215 or 214?
It merges all into one there,
Yeah, I
doesn't
know,
it?
right?
So
It's weird.
214,
So
I
we
think
walked
we were.
214, yeah. So we walked downstairs, and there's Nigel and Sean and a few other people, and Sean is just boiled. He's polluted, and he's like a very happy, sloppy, huggy drunk. So he was hugging my wife. Nice to meet you. It's so fucking great to have you here. And my son's like, I'm like, it's fine. You're good. Don't worry about it.
They're English. That's the way they greet each other.
Yeah, no, it's fine. And my daughter, every other word that comes out of her mouth shouldn't.
What team do you love to beat?
Spurs.
That's
Although a close second, really close second, I developed a true hatred for Everton. I freaking hate them. And watching them suffer
Everton
today
supporters.
is just I couldn't care less. I mean, I never liked them, but when was it McCarthy who scissor tackled Payet?
Yeah.
Oh, that just cemented it for me and them. I just hate them. So watch it. Like when we beat them that year at Goodison after being down 2-0 and came back with those 3 late goals. Oh, I had a sore throat for 2 days. I was
There's no player in the history of football that I hate more than Steven Pienaar. Just his face, his attitude, the way how dirty he was, how sneaky it was, how you touch him, you breathe on him, you fall. I mean, he had literally everything you hate about a football player all in one. Him and Leighton Baines actually too. So that whole Moyes era, I couldn't stand Everton, but I definitely love to beat them. But we
Do you know Everton are known as the People's Club?
Isn't that bizarre?
Well, no, because
I think,
basically it's because Liverpool had more of the worldwide fan base because of their success, where Liverpudlians, obviously, I think Liverpool Football Club was born out of Everton Football Club. So Everton was the true club or the first club of Liverpool, and Everton got evicted from Anfield, and the owners invented Liverpool Football Club to play at Anfield because they'd kicked Everton out of Anfield across Stanley Park to Goodison.
And I think Everton, like historically, if they're not the most successful English football club ever, they're way up there. Like, I mean, if you're talking like the last 120 years.
They were big,
right.
They were bigger than Liverpool in the 20s and the 30s.
Right.
They had a striker who scored 60 goals, 60 things. Yeah,
I think they might have. I think John actually told me that. John Ross.
They're not more successful. Liverpool have won like 18 titles.
I think in
more league cups than anyone.
Okay.
No, Liverpool far outweigh. But Liverpool's success was more recent from the 60s onwards when Shankly turned up, where Everton's was predominantly pre-1950s.
Could it have been with trophies, maybe, if you're including like FA Cups? And
No. Again, Liverpool recently have far outstripped anything. Not that I want to bore people with other clubs, but it's no.
Next.
Well, I picked Man United because I fucking can't stand supposedly like the 3rd biggest club in the world. I don't know. I love beating the big clubs. Spurs, I just can't. I mean, I love beating them, obviously, but they're not a big club. I mean, they're not Man United worldwide, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, but it infuriates Spurs to lose to us more than it infuriates other clubs to lose to us.
I don't, because we're nothing to them, to United, right? United's United. So
right,
I
but
think
so then they go, oh, that was a
we
blip on
lose
the
to one of
radar.
us. I mean, I don't know. So
Spurs lose to us. They're apoplectic.
You're right. You're right. Yeah. Name a player, past or present, that epitomizes West Ham to you, like your vision of West Ham. Like which one player, past or present, epitomizes West Ham?
Billy Bonds.
That's the most popular answer. Yes. Yeah, we've heard Paulo Di Canio, Trevor Brooking, Julian Dix.
Dixie would be a
Everybody
very, very good shot.
I mean, but because nobody who I interview is usually, alive around then. So, if you could take it, this is my favorite question here. So we're going to close out with this. If you could take a time machine back to experience anything to do with West Ham, where would you go?
Wow. Probably 1980 FA Cup would be really up there, considering, we've been relegated. I think we spent 3 consecutive seasons in the second division at that time. Brookings stayed, Alvin Martin, Devonshire. I'd say probably being able to sit at Wembley for that game in where we were in our history. I'd have 1980 FA Cup. If I gave a lot longer to think about it, there's probably other matches I'd think of. I would have loved to have been at Anfield when we broke that, 54-year streak. That would have been something really amazing. But
Did I not ring you from there?
I think you probably did.
I think I rang you from the car after.
You were in your van.
Yes.
Yeah, I think you rang me from the van. I was. Oh my God!
I had a 60-year-old man crying on my shoulder. I'd never met the bloke in my life, and we were standing there, and he was crying on my shoulder because he lived up north, so he'd been to every West Ham Liverpool game for like 40 years. At Anfield, and just watched us time and time again. When a draw was the best we could hope for. I mean, I went there 5 times before I saw West Ham score a goal. Sometimes it made you wonder why you went back.
Yeah. It's
like to Anfield, why
am I doing this?
Yeah,
it's a long drive. I could be punished much easier.
But didn't you watch Canning Town Len's film yesterday, Dave? Did that sort of make you think of the 1980 Cup final?
Just gotta mention that.
I did. I would have said it anyway. I would have, no question. I would have said that anyway, because how many trophies could I go back and watch us win? Not that
4.
many. Yeah, right. And I would have chosen 80 because I knew historically where we had been. But I did watch that film, and whoever hasn't gone on to Amazon Prime, their Amazon account, and ordered that movie, if you haven't done that yet, shame on you. It is great. It is so well done. It is, and to see Nigel's little animated bobbing head, that's just brilliant. That's just great. Every time it came on, I just laughed. I just couldn't help but
It was so well done, man.
I think he put a bit of weight on me. To be fair, I did text him.
But you were clean shaven, and you had
I know.
Hair was a little bit better. Just overall,
it was an old picture.
Very old picture.
One night this week, we're going to be doing a review episode of the film too, and he gave us a couple, trailers to the show as well for that. Listen, we really, it was such a good. We really needed something like that because Iron Man, it's a few years old now. You know what I mean? And we haven't really had a good West Ham film in a few years, and it's just a perfect time to come out when we're on that shitty run. You know what I mean? And even before the Chelsea match, I mean, it was a good walk, a feel good movie film, and man, I'm telling you, you got to
very creative.
Purchase it.
Very creative.
Forever. It's £1.99 or
$3 here. It's $2.99.
Yeah, for American. Yeah, it's $2.99 for Americans.
Are you kidding me?
Also, I guess there was people having trouble in Australia and Canada, but there's a link which I'll end up putting in the description that you can order direct through him.
West Ham Films, I think, or something. No, Canning Town Len Film, or I don't know, whatever.
Well, I'll put the link in the description after this is over. Just for everybody else, because I know one of our good friends, Neil from Down Under, he was having issues, but he reached out to reached out to him and gave him the link. And
yeah, it was a labour of love that took Jay a good 9. I think I remember him saying to me, "I've got this idea in my head, blah blah blah. This is what I want to do." Good 9 months. He did all the filming himself. He did all the animation himself. He swept up. He made the tea himself. He did. The credits was very short because it was just J. And the man deserves all the credit he can get for making the film. And it hopefully educates people. I like to say there's a lot of people that go West Ham over the age of 45, and the reason is because we still believe in that West Ham. Under the age of 45, you have to look at it to understand why us old sods are the way we are, because of that team, and it gets to the heart of it, I think.
Yeah, that 1980 was the year I was born, so I missed out on that one. But hey,
oh my God,
it was fantastic. Listen, now's the time for both you guys to plug. Since Nigel, you're here, I'm going to let you plug again as well. We'll start with you, Nigel, and we'll close it out with David. So, Nigel, what do you got for us?
What plug like more than just a podcast?
More than just a podcast.
More than just a podcast. We generally release it on a Monday or Tuesday morning, or Tuesday, wherever you are in the world. And it's just 3 or 4 geezers that don't sit in the same room together having a moan about what's happened with West Ham the week before. And it's generally 3 of them trying to take the piss out of the other one. I really enjoy it, though. I look forward to it every week. And when you miss one. It does surprise. To be fair, it is fun. I will say the things. It is funny because I don't really do a lot of video stuff. So it's weird when you meet listeners. And I met one recently called Dave Jones, who I nicknamed Ziggy Stardust, obviously. It just so happened that he had a great T-shirt on, and I said to him, "Mate, I like your T-shirt. Where'd you get it?" And he got it off West Ham Fan TV. I said, "Oh, blimey, I'll have to have a look at that." Chat, and we got talking. And I don't like to say, "Oh, do you know my mate Sean Whetstone?" Because a lot of people don't like him. So you have to go. So I say, "Oh, well, my mate, he knows people, and he says this." And Dave Jones looked at me and went, "Are you called Nigel?" And it was like, when people do that, you get a bit, "Yeah, I am." He went, "Oh, mate, I listened to your show." Of course, he went, "I'm listener number 9, which is an old joke, Dave,
all
isn't
8
it?
Listeners,
back in the days when we did only have 8 listeners, apparently.
That's awesome.
But meeting, Sean met people the other day who come up to him. He was at a work conference and said, "Yeah, we listened to your show, mate. We love it." So, we're doing something right, and that's all. That's all it's about, realistically.
That's why we do what we do. And that's
exactly right.
When I go to visit different supporters groups in the States, and I get to meet the viewers like TJ Cooney. Seriously, like awesome guy. I brought my son down there.
Can I just say, because he's still there, he is mad in real life as he comes across, because that man, he's barking.
Just his hair,
in my opinion.
Yes,
I've seen a photograph of him. Yeah,
no, he's awesome though. We love him. And I get to meet a lot of cool people that way. And seriously, and meeting you, Nigel, and Sean, and everybody, not personally, but physically, but. Listen, it's the best thing that's ever happened to me is getting to meet everybody and talk to everybody, bring people on the show like David, and get to meet you guys, man. This is really the coolest thing in the world, and we're all West Ham, so that just makes it that much better. So,
and I like David, your hat. Your hat looks good. Where'd you get your hat?
The hat was actually made by does it say? No, it doesn't. That's 3-Legged Man. That's what it used to be. It's the Columbus E13. It's a supporters group in Columbus, Ohio, and the back of it is even better, dude.
Oh, that's a nice hat.
Well,
I like that hat.
Dave knows now I'm going to get one of them. So where do I get one of them?
From
plug the hat.
Yeah, from Kevin from the Columbus E13. He owns a printing business, and he.
I'll sort out the order. I'll talk.
Yeah, do it. I'll have one of them.
I'll get it sent here. Yeah, I'll get one too, because I have one that I got at the club shop that has at least it has all the different badges around it, so it's not just the new one.
That's cool.
That's
Yeah.
the only
You
one
know
I would
me,
buy
Dave.
there.
I won't wear the new badge. So.
You only have one.
Oh, yes, that's true.
Only
yeah.
have the one.
Yeah, the one. I'm fussy. I thought I objected to them putting London on the badge. We're not a London team, people.
I know.
We're
That's
an
why
East
I love
London
this shirt
team.
too, because it's got the.
That's it.
the
That's
crest.
it.
Yeah.
And honest to God, my favorite shirt ever. I bought in the 2011, 2012 season.
Is
when we
it?
were in the
Hold up.
championship.
Is it the white? Oh yes, yes. Very nice.
Yeah, for club
That's a
and
nice
country,
one. I like
man.
that.
And it actually
Yeah.
has.
Where's the stars and stripes though?
badge.
Oh yeah. Oh,
That's the real badge. Yeah.
But the St. George inside that, it looks awesome in claret and blue. But yeah, so David, what do you get to plug, my man? West Ham Till I Die.
Well,
Anything else?
I mean, WestHamTillIDie.com. It's a terrific site.
Twitter handle in the description of this video or the title of the video, so people will hunt you down.
Ian is Ian's a great guy. It's the very well known presenter, both from LBC Radio over there. He's been on CNN International for years. You may not like his politics, but you're gonna love his football if you're a West Ham supporter. More than just on 2 or 3 occasions, I've gotten late calls from Sean, like, John or George can't make it. Are you home on Monday? So I've been guest presenter 2 or 3 times. And oddly, I would get occasional tweets after I did it for one reason only, that I would give Sean shit. That I would join into that. Like, good for you. I'm like, oh, this is great. So
go ahead and put that on Claret and Hugh again. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I gave him a wee bit of grief myself, but he's a terrific guy too. So yeah, WestHamTillIDie.com.
Cool.
Of course, I write on there as well. I should point out.
Yes, he does every Thursday.
Thursday's
Nigel has
my
a piece.
day.
Yeah, is his day. I'm just after the matches. Only on weekends. I'm not going to be able to report on Wolves or on Arsenal because, I got a job.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I got to go to work, Ian. Sorry. Pay me the same thing my boss does. I'll stay home.
Yeah. But listen, it was a pleasure, chatting with you guys. Nice to meet you, David. And pleasure
Nice to meet
you
you
again,
sir.
Nigel. I'll talk to you guys real quick off the air. But for everybody else who was watching this on Periscope or Facebook Live, which you were, I see a lot of you were, please head and
Hi, everybody. Thanks.
Subscribe to our channel. Please go ahead and go over YouTube and do that. And come on, you irons.
Nigel won't do that. No, he refuses.
That's fine.